Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome out to another fantastic episode of According to Kaz and Queen. And as always, I'm Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And this is this little podcast of ours, According to Kaz and Queen. These are conversations that take place between a husband and wife in the privacy of our own home that we bring to you guys, sometimes to make you laugh, sometimes to make you think, to be introspective, but to always open up the lines of communication between men and women. And we appreciate you guys, of course, for joining us. We're available on all streaming platforms, okay? We just started season 3. This is episode number 52. Season 3 kicked off with a bang. We got a new look right here, of course. Let us know what you think about this new look. And, of course, we're on all streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music. You know the drill. And we're also on Black with No Chaser Radio. So all you got to do is go download the Black with No Chaser Radio app. That's BWNC Radio app. Make sure you go down there and download that. It's a lot of great Black podcasts, a lot of great Black content that is on that Black with No Chaser channel. All right. So make sure you go and check that out as well. And of course, you can follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and we're on TikTok. So we might even start doing a little bit of that quirky content that you guys like so much. We might even do it because we do a lot of funny stuff here inside of the house as well. And of course, you can hear us on the streaming services, but if you prefer to see our bright, shiny faces, you can check us out on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. All right. youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. Brad Kamikaze Franklin. You'll see it on the screen. When I put my fingers up, you know the drill. Bow. All right. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you go check out all of the other great content that is on that channel as well. This is brought to you by none other than the Kundi Collection, www.kundicollective.com. Got one right here, of course. You know I'm always repping, always representing. Okay. Not colored, not Negro, not African American, Black. We represent Blackness on this show. That is what we do. And that is what we rep here as well. So we appreciate you guys for joining us. We're going to be talking about debate night in just a little bit. We're going to get to that, something fantastic that's going on. Tickets are available right now. If you're watching, tickets are available right now. We'll put the Eventbrite link up in just a little bit for you to be a part of a very unique live social experience that you're going to want to be a part of. There's a lot of cool people involved, and you're going to be seeing it popping up somewhere on YouTube and other places as well. So make sure you're checking it out. So we're going to get started this week. We got a lot to talk about. I think one of the things that people like about us, and I think one of the things that we like about us, is that over the years we have learned how to conflict resolve a lot better as we have matured, and we're really transparent. You know, I don't think that there's anything that, you know, we keep from you guys. There's a little bit that we keep from you guys, but we're kind of transparent. It's kind of transparent with things that go on in our household that we talk about. Being a married couple now, just having seen our 14th wedding anniversary. So we had a little incident, did we not? A little small something?
What?
A little small something. So my wife, you know, goes out with her friend. She has a good time, you know, and we have had a couple of conversations over the years about the time that we feel that a husband and wife should be in the household after a night on the town. And there are a few instances where my bride takes a few liberties with it. I will say this. We always talk about this. I don't, you know, my bride is not my property. My bride does not belong to me. Her body belongs to her. You know, we are a married couple, but she is a grown woman. And not only she's a grown woman, she has plopped 2 kids out of her as well. So she has the full right to act as an adult. You know, I don't make mandates and make demands of her, and she doesn't make them of me because we're adults. So we learn how to operate within the confines of the marriage. But there are instances where she might take a few liberties, and there are a few instances where, the old queen, Fumi, or as her alias is known by those in those days, Hollywood, the old Hollywood will come out, and she'll get out on the town and get a little liberal, a little loose with the time, and, come in a little bit late, a little bit in the very wee hours of the morning. In fact, the morning has begun for a lot of people when she gets in. So she got in a little late. There was a blow up. There was I don't know what you can do at 5 a.m. There was a little blow up and a little back and forth. And in the light of day, things were different, and we had to figure out how to resolve that conflict and resolve it immediately. Because as we have told you on a lot of occasions, if you've gone back and looked at some of the other episodes, there are a lot of instances where we have just got through having a knockdown, drag out fight before we actually did this podcast. You probably wouldn't have known it today because it was resolved immediately. We've kind of made a thing about not going to bed angry, but at 4 or 5 in the morning, everybody's sleepy. So we pretty much concede to get up the next morning and kind of wake up with a clear mind. But it begs the question, and I want to get your thoughts on this, about once you're married and going out with friends and being an adult and being a responsible adult, should there be a curfew, or should there be a particular time when a married woman or man should be inside? A lot of people say yes to that, but we may have different thoughts on it. But, after, your good time that you had, and a time it was, apparently, when you got back here with the choice words that you were using to me at 4:30 in the morning.
Baby, I don't remember what I said.
I know you don't, and that's why I charge it to the game most of the time. But what are your thoughts on that, though? What are your thoughts on having a curfew? Because, mind you, in your retort to me, there was a lot of that in your retort.
I'm probably going to repeat what I said to you, but now with more less alcohol, on the brain.
And that's easy.
Yeah. So curfew, I don't like. I don't like the idea of saying, you have a curfew. I am 50 years old. I don't have a curfew. However, it depends on the relationship, two people, whatever the common ground is that you set. And you have to be respectful to that common ground. Whatever it is that works for those people. Some people might be like, come in whenever you want. If that works for y'all, that's cool.
Right.
For us, there's a couple of hours, a little, earlier than 5. 5 is ridiculous. So,
it is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we don't have you got to be in by this time.
Unless we're together.
Yeah, if we're together, then all bets are off. We get in whenever we get in. But if we're not, and I'm out.
But, having, a preteen who's pretty self-sufficient as parents.
I mean, I'm assuming that we're talking about if she's not.
Yes. Absolutely.
If she's taken care of, not home, or not waiting on us, or something like that.
Yeah.
But so don't tell me that I have a curfew, but there is a reasonable time that we have determined that makes sense for us. So going outside of that then becomes disrespectful. So me coming in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning just doesn't work. It was just irresponsible and disrespectful. So I can admit that. I do also at the same time feel like I'm not a go out person. And I very, very, very rarely go out without you and have a relaxing, free, just me letting it all out. I rarely have those moments. So a little bit of grace in those circumstances. There are only a handful of people that I would allow myself to be so free to have such a good time that I lose track of time. That's 2-3 people in the world that can make me do that. Mm-hmm. And so on this particular situation, I was hanging out with one of those people, and I did not think about the time, did not look at my watch, phone died, didn't care, like none of that. So that doesn't negate the fact that I should have been watching the time. I should have been conscious of it. You know, it doesn't negate that. But I feel like, you know who I'm with, you know how I am when I go out. I'll never really get to let my hair down. So a little bit of grace in that regard. You know, I know who you with. I know how you feel about this person. I know how, you know, you are when you go out with them. You know, a little bit of grace. But that doesn't negate the fact that this is not what we do. You know better, you know. And I did. And I did not know the time until you told me when I walked in. Like, I seriously did not pay attention to the time. I wasn't tired. I wasn't like, oh, it's time. Like, none of that. I didn't have no idea what time it was. Mm-hmm. That does not negate the fact that I should have been conscious of the time. I should have been paying attention to it. So
it's just being mindful and respectful. And by the way, fellas out there, you have a woman here, my wife, who has absolutely zero problem and has got much better at it, by the way, of apologizing and admitting wrong and admitting fault. And I know for a lot of y'all that may be a crazy concept, but it's a concept that has to exist in a marriage, has to exist in a healthy relationship. There has to be a level of accountability, and there has to be a level of contrition if you do something wrong. And it's not an indictment on you as a person if you admit my bad. Sometimes it's just as simple as saying my bad.
Yeah.
And, you know, getting up first thing in the morning, which is kind of usually for us a reset for the day, getting up first thing in the morning and admitting fault on both sides, because I was at fault too at 4:30 in the morning and kind of going off loudly.
Oh my God, you laid into me, baby.
Yeah, I was a little perturbed. But, you know, there's the thing, because you are a woman, I am concerned about your safety. It's a difference, you know, than with me. And I've come in at 4, 5 in the morning before. I'm coming from out of town, coming from shows, coming from off the road.
Let's talk about homecoming. Homecoming is coming up. Homecoming is one of the weekends where you get a pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a hall pass, but a pass. You know,
and I still don't come in. Just
you have.
I have, but that's previous.
Did I react the way you reacted?
And it's been a long time, but
it's been a long time for me too. Did I react the way you reacted when you came in late?
You had a problem with it.
Did I react the way you reacted?
You didn't react the way that I reacted. So
tell the people why you reacted that way. Because you know I don't do that. That's not a normal thing.
I was concerned about your
You
safety.
could not go to sleep because I wasn't at home.
And I couldn't go to sleep.
That's the reason why you acted like that.
But the reason why I can't go to sleep when you're not home is because I'm concerned about your safety when you're out. And I'm a very light sleeper. Like, I'm a light sleeper, guys. My wife, in the morning or late at night, if she's gotten into REM sleep, there is no limit to the things that I can do on the edge of our bed. In our bed. There's no limit.
You could build a house beside me.
There's no limit to what I can do in that bedroom or up here, what I'm watching. I could be up here building a shed in the front room, you know, with wood and drills and all kinds of stuff, and she's not going to wake up. She sleeps very hard. I sleep very lightly. Keys, you know, little cracks here and there, you know, the house settling, all that kind of stuff. Dog barking outside by the window. Any number of small things that happen.
I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
I'm a light sleeper. You know, there are rare occasions when I get into REM sleep, and it happens sometime during the course of the week when I get in that REM sleep, and, you know, I'll miss the phone buzzing. I'll miss, you know, whatever you're watching on TV. And there are some occasions where you kind of move around, but if you kind of get up and stir about, I'm going to wake up. And I can't really sleep unless I know that you're in the house. That's just how I am. You know, if my kids who are out of town or in other places and don't live with us, if I know that they're out doing something, I can't be settled until I know that they're okay. That's just me personally. But being a light sleeper and, you know, you being a woman and being concerned about your safety out here, and I know that you were with people who were going to absolutely take the best care of you, that wasn't the issue. But you never know what goes on. So
I get it. That makes sense to me.
I'm not content until you're here in the house. I'm not content until you're here. So when you get here, I'm content. And, you know, you lost track of time. Your phone is zany these days. It's time for an upgrade, by the way. You know,
I can't even take pictures. My phone just shuts off.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. But
I get it. I get it, and I respect it, which is why the first thing I did when my feet hit the ground that morning was to apologize to you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even get to apologize for what I said, but I can't remember it, so an apology would be worthless. So, but I do apologize for disrespecting, because I do feel like it was disrespectful. I saw that you texted me after my phone came back on. Like, if that was me and I texted you and you didn't respond, that would have created a panic for me. Mm-hmm. So, you know,
and I knew the condition that your phone was in too, and I know that your battery runs out, and I know that, you know, you were going to be down at some point because you don't really, you know,
my
you don't
phone
really care.
Be in my bag. I don't really be paying no attention to it.
With me, if I'm out,
I'm present. Whatever I'm doing, I try to be present. So I was fully present, and in the moment that I was in, kicking it with my people. I don't get to do that. I can't even remember the last time I was with them. So I really just threw caution to the wind. In hindsight, I didn't give enough consideration to the wind and how far it would take me, you know. So to that regard, you know, you deserved, Braylon deserves, like the household deserves an apology, because that was not a responsible act for me to do. Not because I was irresponsible in hanging out till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but I was irresponsible in how we run our household. That's just not what we do. So giving you an apology was heartfelt, and I was, you know, it was my fault. So I was cool with taking the accountability for that. And I didn't want to ruin our whole day, because I can go, when I'm on one, baby, I ain't got to talk to you. I can get into something else. And I just didn't want that, you know. So it wasn't worth it.
And that's fair. I mean, I think, you know, I try to, just for the sake of us, you know, having a daughter and the kids and you, I try to make sure my phone stays charged up while I'm out and pay attention, because I've been out before and have had things happen, you know, on the spur, and you have to, you know, just keeping your phone charged up. And then sometimes, you know, I had to take it and put it in the truck and let it charge, or ask somebody for a charger, or if I know I'm gonna be out for a while, take a charger with me. Make sure that it's charged up, because
there was no way. There was no prep.
Yeah, no prep. No
none
prep
of this.
at all. Yeah.
None of this was intentional. Like, it was flowing, and it just flowed. But it does, you know, beg a great question for married people. Like, how do you handle that? And are y'all on the same page? Yeah. Not necessarily if it's an issue, how do you resolve it? But are you on the same page? Do y'all agree about how you gonna run your household? Because if there is a clear communicated decision, then it's very easy to avoid an argument, or, you know, somebody has to take accountability, because this is not what we agreed on. So make sure that you have some sort of agreement first. What does that look like? How are we gonna do this? You know, and then second, if somebody happens to go outside of the agreement and do something that y'all have not discussed or agreed upon, then is that person able to accept accountability and then take rightful actions to rectify that? Is that person capable of doing that? I think that's important. Like, this is a reminder that communication is important. Being respectful to your marriage is important. Being respectful to your spouse is important. Being respectful to the whatever decisions you've made for your household, for your relationship, for your marriage, respecting that. You have to identify that first. That's important. But you also have to be respectful of it.
And you got to too, and I think for younger couples, this is probably a bigger issue, because when you're in your 20s and 30s, you got a lot more energy. When you're at our age, a lot of that going out gets completely eliminated because we just simply don't feel like getting up and getting ready to go anywhere, especially with all of the stuff that we do and the different businesses that we run and the different broadcasts that we do during the week. It's not always the energy to actually go and do things every day, but you need to have a conversation, and there has to be a compromise. Not the guy saying, I absolutely do not want you.
You ain't gonna do this.
You ain't gonna do this. And
that's
then
not it.
The wife saying, I like doing this, blah, 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 blah. And the guy says, no, this is what we're going to do. Or the woman saying, you don't get to go do X, Y, Z. I don't want you going out with your frats. I don't want you going out with your homies from the hood. I don't want you to go out, with this person or that person. Or the dude saying, I don't want you to go out with your girlfriends. It's not mandating it. It's a compromise. If you're the guy and you say, I don't think a person in a relationship or a married woman should be out past 1 a.m., and the woman is used to staying out to like maybe 2:30 with her friends, she's going to say, well, no, that doesn't work for me because I'm grown and I can do this. And you take that 1, you take that 2, and then y'all figure out how to come to a compromise.
Yeah.
And then when you figure out that compromise, then that's what works ultimately. You don't make mandates of the other person. There has to be compromise and there has to be communication. But, we've gotten a lot better at it. There would have been times that we would have not spoken for the entirety of the day. But it's just really not worth it at the end of the day if you just communicate and go ahead and, once everybody's had a time to process or sleep on it, you get up and you take care of it and you handle it and you move on about your day. So, what happened at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, that morning, by the time it was 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and, the liquor had worn off and everybody got a chance to go to sleep and wake up, it was handled. And that gets better because it's work. Yeah. So it takes that. But I say that to say, last night, I don't know a lot of you who are familiar with the hole in the wall culture. There's a song called who was that from?
Let's Go, Baby.
Who was that?
Mel Waiters.
That's your
ex-boyfriend.
Hole
in the wall.
That's your ex-boyfriend.
Hateration.
It's not hateration. Ladies and gentlemen,
Brad.
My bride.
That is no, sir.
What?
No, sir.
That's what you told me.
No, it don't matter. That is inappropriate. Go on with something else.
All right. Anyway, the hole in the wall culture, my wife kind of came up in it, was a part of it. She was doing it when I met her. And it's kind of a thing now. Started out as a niche thing, but it's kind of more of a thing now. And it used to be something that old people did.
Oh my God. Not old people?
Yeah. Oh, when I was younger, it was kind of an old people thing, an older people thing, older than me. But now, at any rate, it's a much different culture now. The hole in the wall culture.
Let me just put a disclaimer out there right now for anybody who goes to any hole in the wall area. My husband is not privy to all the information that he needs to have to really have this conversation. So understand that he is on the outside looking in. So please
was about to say that.
Please give him some grace before you judge him. And the rest I will handle. Just hold tight.
You don't have to judge me. I'm giving an interpretation of my experience. Okay. I've had a chance on, this might be the third occasion that I had a chance to dive off into the hole in the wall experience and in the culture, and get a load of it all in one night. And I tell you, it's something else, and it's different than regular club culture and different than just a regular social scene that exists. It's its own kind of universe
It's like the
in and of
paint.
itself.
It's like the paint.
It's like the paint without the stripping.
Yes.
If you
In
take
that
the, if
it
you
is
take
a
the
whole
stripping,
community that's kind of offset from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
In that regard, it is kind of
well,
like
if you take the stripping out of it, it's kind of that. But then there are instances where you might get some unwanted stripping and gyrating thrust upon you. There's a lot of that going on as well. A lot of personal space invaded with twerkage.
because
and
we are
shaking.
a family. You don't have space. The places are usually
I was a
as
visitor.
big as a one room in your house.
It's a hole in the wall.
So space is something you don't even expect when you go up in there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's gonna be a butt in your face gyrating. It's gonna be somebody sitting this close to you, like you turn like this, and they are right there. That's gonna happen. It's a part of the culture.
There was gyrating going on. Interesting to note that the majority of the gyrating comes from women who are in their 60s.
That is not true.
I'm giving you my experience.
That was just for the night that we were there.
Yes.
On a regular night,
my experience.
everybody gyrates.
Everybody gyrates.
Even the men.
And the men gyrate. And that's cool. I'm going based upon my experience from...
I think it's something to be said for a 60-year-old gyration. I'm going to be gyrating at 60.
I am in favor of 60-year-olds gyrating if they want to gyrate, if they want to twerk, if they want to shake.
Absolutely.
60, 70, knock yourself out, ladies and gentlemen. However, it's not particularly something that I want to intake with my eyeballs on a regular
And that's
basis.
why you are a visitor
I was
to
a
the
visitor.
hole in the wall.
I was a visitor. Yeah. It was an experience. Especially the lip syncing was an experience. Those of you who are familiar with the lip syncing culture, it's not exactly karaoke. It's different than karaoke. I think it's kind of similar to what lip sync is kind of similar to what the thing that they were doing on Pose. What do you call that? When they're
That was lip syncing.
They're still lip syncing. Okay, so it's a big deal, and you make tips. You get tips. You get up there. You sing your song. So my wife lip synced. She is a legend in the hole in the wall. Hollywood is a legend. Although they did call you queen on the
They
mic.
did call me
They
queen.
did call you queen. It was a young dude DJing, so he might have known.
They had to tell him who I was, so that was probably not him that said
His
that.
mic wasn't working
But
well either.
that was interesting. I found that interesting because I was definitely Hollywood. Well, not really, but I would think that I would have been Hollywood there. But they was like queen. I was like, oh,
I mean, well, people know
okay.
you. People know you.
Yeah.
They know you. So you're a legend in the hole in the wall world with the lip syncing, and for your godmother's birthday, you did a number.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, by the way, I want to say they came over and asked her if she wanted to lip sync.
Oh, here we go.
Let me tell you, ladies and
go.
gentlemen,
This is the hateration.
it's
Y'all
not
watch it.
hateration, but let me tell you, it's so cute. It's the cutest thing, and everybody is guilty of it. Even I can say I'm guilty of it. But you come in there after you hadn't been in there for a long time, and the people come over to you and say, hey, Hollywood, I want you to lip sync for my birthday. Or, hey, you think you got a number in you? You want to lip sync? And then comes the, who, me? Well, I declare, you were asking me to lip sync. I just don't know if I have anything prepared. I don't know if I have anything prepared. And then you reach in your pocket and roll out the lyrics to the song, and you got it ready already. It was one of them numbers right there. So everybody was coming over, and then she milked it at the end, and she didn't know that I saw this part. She milked it at the end. The lady was coming over to her, and it was the last minute. She had to make the decision on whether or not she was doing it. Now, mind you, she'd already made a decision that she was finna lip sync.
I really
already.
didn't. But I can appreciate you saying that.
She had made a decision. So the lady is leaning over to her and saying, okay, I got to get your answer right now. And then you're milking it there at the end like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Am I going to remember the words? Oh, no. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. And I was like, if you don't get out of town with that, and got up there, of course, and did an amazing job and was showered with dollar bills. It's a great job. I might send you to do that every weekend. It was like the paint in there.
Really
it was like
was
the paint
not
without the stripping.
Like that, guys. It was not like that. I really did not think about the fact that I might have to lip sync, because usually I'm told beforehand if I need to perform. I was not told that. So probably because they did not know for sure if I was coming. Because I have said I'm coming before and didn't make it.
Well, that's
so
true.
They probably didn't know for sure if I was coming. So when they started asking me to lip sync, I literally did not want to do it, because I don't do it on a regular basis. Hadn't thought about it. Didn't know what to do. But I got an arsenal now. Don't get me wrong. I got things I can pull from.
Okay.
But usually back in the day, if someone pulled something on me, like spur of the moment, I would go outside and listen to the song real quick so I could remember it. I didn't have no desire to do that. So I had to go with something I absolutely knew. So most of what he saw, oh my God, that was what on earth can I pull out my bag and do, because I am one of them OG lip syncers where I don't sing. I do ad libs. I do the part of the lead person singing in that, which is what everybody should do, but they don't. Y'all done dumbed down lip syncing so far that I don't even know what y'all doing. But you're supposed to sing the lead vocals. So
not the background.
Right. I had to do had to figure out a song that I knew well enough to be able to do that. Plus, I had to make an impact. So I went with Dangerously in Love, and it came back like clockwork.
That was one in your bag. Everybody's got that one in the bag that they can go to.
I got about 2 or 3.
You got 2 or 3 in the bag.
Yeah.
So you was really ready. But, for the sake of, you being who you are in the hole in the wall scene, you had to, you had to keep them on their toes a little bit.
Well, it was my godmother's birthday, and if she asked me to do it, I had to do it. So, but she was smart, because she kept sending people over there to ask for her, which that's just like her tactic. Mm-hmm. And it was a couple people that she was sending, 2 or 3 people. And so
a lot of people came over.
Yeah. So she meant for me to know that this is what it is.
Oh, I don't know. I did not come prepared to do anything.
I wasn't prepared, babe.
I was just coming to...
He acted like I was just being all kind of dramatic. I wasn't.
Gasp.
It wasn't like that.
Oh, my God.
That boy said gasp. Oh, my gasp.
Oh, my gasp. But it was cool, though. You lip synced, you did your thing. And we were talking, actually, afterward. You did Dangerously in Love, which I guess we call a deep cut. For the Beyonce Destiny's Child fans. So I asked you the question. The question arose because you said that a lot of people in there were not familiar with that song. To me, that was one of her biggest records. Mm-hmm. So it should really be a deep cut, but you said a lot of people in there didn't. So it begged the question for me, and I wanted to ask you just how big of a superstar is Beyonce? Are there people in the hole in the wall, or do you think there are people that exist that don't know a Beyonce song, or don't know if you say the name Beyonce knows or Beyonce, that would not know who she is?
I don't know where they are in the world. Even the people in the hole in the wall, while they may not know Dangerously in Love, they know a Beyonce song. They know who Beyonce is, even if they have to say Blues Mama or Jay-Z's wife or that girl from Destiny's Child. They know who she is. They just are not. These are blues fans. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So if you got a song that's close to blues that Beyonce does, that a DJ plays, then they'll know it, But for the most part, you're going to be listening to blues in there. Mm-hmm. So,
and young people in there reciting the words to.
There were young people in there that know Beyonce, but the majority of the people in there listen to blues. They are blues lovers.
I was saying that the young people were in it. When I was in my 20s, blues was looked at to me as, again, old people's music or people that stay in the country and the boonies. But in this day and age now, I guess with the advent of Southern Soul, there's a lot of young people that are in their 20s that be reciting the words to these songs and know them and are immersed in that culture.
I think that the 20-year-olds are hearing it from their parents. Their parents are listening to it. So that's how they're hearing it. Just like our kid is hearing rhythm and blues. She's a hip hop fan, but she hears rhythm and blues from me. So she knows some of those songs. It's just not her forte. But whatever your parents listen to, that's what you grow up on. Sean grew up on R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? He grew up on R. Kelly and Brian McKnight.
What's up?
Yeah. So whatever the parents listen to, that's what they do.
Let me ask you this. I don't think we talked about this on the last show. Did we talk about Braylon telling us what her go-to hip-hop record was? So I was having a conversation with the little one, y'all out there, while we're talking about this, and I was listening to BG of the Hot Boys, and Cash Money had just been released from prison. So I was going back through and listening to some old BG records from when I first got introduced to them. And I know the records very well. They jam hard. And, I'm very animated when I'm driving and the music's on, as a lot of people are. And our little one is very reserved and kind of very calm and kind of really chill. I've never really seen her get hyped to music. She listens to music, but I've never seen her get hype. I've never seen her bop. I haven't seen her do any of that. So I was like, hey, is you listen to music, how does music make you feel? What emotion does it invoke in you? Does it get you excited? What do you put on when you want to get hype? Like, Pops is putting on BG in the car and you hear me and I'm reciting the words to it. What do you know that you recite the words to that gets you hype? And you listen to it, and her response was, I like Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. And I was like, excuse me? I said, excuse me?
Excuse me, sir?
She said, Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. And I was like, do you know kind of what that song is about? You know the words to the song? She was like, yeah. And when it comes on, I like it. And it makes me bob my head a little bit. And I told her mother, and then we talked about it. And I don't know where we go with that. And I think we kind of just, because we didn't know where to go with it, we kind of just left it alone.
We'll get back to that later.
And we didn't even reply to it at all whatsoever. But she told her mom, and, she's very transparent with us, of course. It's a must. We keep the lines of communication open. So even at 13 years old, she is very forthcoming and honest with us on a lot of things because we want her to be. So she was comfortable saying that she listens to Hit 'Em Up. We don't have any problem with her listening to particular lyrics with profanity in it because
you can't hide from it.
Can't hide from it. I was in the music business, and her grown siblings listened to everything. But the difference was, I was there and available to explain to them what they were listening to. And I was there and available to help them to discern, what it was that was being said. With me being an artist and listening to people, I didn't let the music completely raise them or completely influence them without me having the balance of the influence. And
I did further the conversation a little bit.
What happened?
So she got in the car and I was listening to Killer Mike. And usually that's not, I've already had my Killer Mike time by the time I pick her up. But that day I needed some extra, you know what I'm saying? So she noticed, and she was like, I was like, so you know this album, right? What's your favorite song on here? She was like, I don't really have a favorite song. And then she was like, but there is this song. She said, so I asked her, I was like, so Daddy listens to this constantly, right? She was like, yep. In the morning, when he picked me up, anytime I get in the car, this is what's on. I said, well, now he's probably listening to the deluxe 4 songs. He's probably like, those are what you're hearing now. And she was like, yeah. And so I asked her, she said there was a song on there that you were listening to. I said, how does he act in the morning? Is he as crunk in the morning as he is when he listening to it? And she was like, no. She was like, it's just on in the morning. But
it is.
She said,
because we are both in the mode of I'm finna drop her off. I'm finna go to work. You know, it's not a good time. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a whole lot being said. We don't really talk that much on the way to school until she gets in. And I was like, have a good day. I love you. And she said, I love you too. And then that's it. That's really all we say in the morning because it's pretty much like, oh, shit, here we go. Here we go again.
But she couldn't remember what song it was, but she said there was a lot of singing in it.
Mm-hmm,
so I would assume that it was one of those 4 songs that I told you I like.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I thought that was interesting because you never know what she's paying attention to.
She pays attention, and and I know she does because it's influenced some of the stuff that she's listened to. It happened, with the older kids. I remember one time, not vaguely, but I remember one time vividly where, Julian had downloaded the DOC to the Xbox. And they had the video game, and he downloaded the DOC and some old NWA stuff and downloaded it to the Xbox because I had been listening to it, and he got into that, and he started kind of digging that, and then, it kind of changed his perspective on the music that he was listening to. So he has a wider palette for music as well. That influence is very important.
It is, yeah.
It's very important, and even with those kids that are singing, blues at the time. But I want to go back to what I was saying. What makes a superstar? We talk about Beyonce. We just had a conversation with some friends over the weekend about all of them going to the Renaissance tour and their experience going in the Renaissance tour and wearing the silver and the mute challenge and how serious the mute challenge was. And then there was one person that went to both the Drake and Beyonce concerts. And then we talked about what constitutes a superstar. What does it mean to be a superstar, and what constitutes being a superstar? What is that in your estimation, juxtaposed between people like Beyonce, Drake, Jay-Z?
Why is Drake in this conversation?
I would say
why are people comparing Drake or even lining Drake up with Beyonce?
I think it's because of the fans. They both have a very rabid and, dare I say, zombie-like fan base.
Drake?
Yeah. Drake's fans are just like Beyonce's fans, but not to the degree.
Crazy.
And then, of course, you've got Nicki Minaj's fans. You got the Barbs. You got those people. You got the people that have this very rabid, intense fan base for them. But when I talk about superstar, I mean as far as public consciousness is concerned. What constitutes a superstar? Is it by how obscure a place you need to be where people know who she is? Like you go in a hole in the wall and there's somebody that's 65 in there knows who Beyonce is. Does that mean she's a superstar? Or is it kids knowing? Or is it white folks knowing? What constitutes a superstar? Why is Beyonce a superstar outside of her talent?
For me, what makes a superstar is their popularity all over the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like that's what makes a superstar. I don't think that there are people, a large number of people in Africa, Asia, that know Drake. Maybe it is, I guess, but they know Beyonce.
Absolutely.
So they know Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
They may not even know Prince as well as they know Michael Jackson.
That's true.
But they know Michael Jackson.
You're absolutely right.
And the only person after Michael Jackson that people will know like that is Beyonce.
I agree.
So to me, that's how it's measured. If you can go any continent in the world and stand somewhere and have a conversation with somebody about that person, it has surpassed all culture. That's a superstar.
Incidentally, there's this kid that has gone viral on TikTok. He's in Africa, and he does impersonations of Roman Reigns. It's like African kids are doing impersonations of Roman Reigns now in Africa. That to me that's superstardom.
Yes.
And you're talking about, pockets of Africa where, there is not a lot of Wi-Fi, not a lot of exposure to the outside world, and they're getting stuff days, weeks sometimes after it airs here in the States. But you can go to London, England, you can go to Ghana, you can go to Australia, and people will know a person's name. And Roman Reigns, maybe not even in that sense for people who are not wrestling fans, but Beyonce, you can go to a village, I think, an obscure village somewhere in Africa, and they're going to know who Beyonce is. And
Beyonce is amazing. Like, I spent a lot of time trying to hate her intentionally because she married Jay-Z.
Yeah, that was a personal thing.
It was very personal. But she's undeniable. You can't, like, if you hate Beyonce, you should self-evaluate, because there is some reason. There's something about her that is a reflection of you that you don't like or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But this girl, seriously, her work ethic is above anything that I have ever seen. She is able to command large audiences of people who willingly allow her to command them. That's crazy. Like, really think about that. Think about that. Like, somebody got slapped at the concert because they talked during the mute challenge.
Like,
people are serious.
They're serious about that. Like, there's physical ramifications if you're in the wrong place. If you had made noise during the mute challenge, it became a thing. It is absolutely fascinating. And when I think about remembering how, Bills started and the whole little thing, and you knew that she was the daughter of the person who was managing the group, but you didn't have any idea how it was going to turn up.
We didn't know how it was going to turn up, but everybody who watched Destiny's Child knew Beyonce was a superstar and that was a stepping stone. I think everybody who was a fan of Destiny's Child knew Beyonce was only going to be there for a minute.
I would say that I did not think that at first, but then I saw it.
I never not saw it. Never thought it. After
the personnel changes happened, I knew.
Yeah, so the first go round when it was 4 of them, maybe not. But by the time they got to Kelly and Michelle, Beyonce had they were her backup singers.
Yeah, it was already in the works. The writing was on the wall at that point. They should have been working on.
And people are wanting a Destiny's Child reunion. What you think about that?
I want to see it. I want to see.
You think Beyonce would do it?
LaTanya and Latavia. She shouted them out on stage, and LaTanya and Latavia were in the VIP at the Houston show. So there's a possibility that it might happen. I would love to see it. I love the reunion stories. I love the not forgetting where you came from and giving your people a chance to shine. I don't know what Latavia is doing, but LaToya Luckett has done some acting, done some things, put out some records. She's paying the bills.
Latavia was on a reality show. R&B Divas, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was on R&B Divas.
They are not up to par with Beyonce.
I mean, who's up to par with Beyonce?
Kelly and Michelle can roll with her on their songs, but those first two, LaToya maybe, but that Latavia,
I think you're hating on Latavia a little bit.
No,
I
I'm
think
being honest.
I mean, they're gonna do the moves.
I've heard her sing. She's not on. She's definitely not.
She was a group member. She was definitely a
She's
group
a group member for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the best we gonna do is get them to maybe record a song, 2 tops.
I don't even think they're gonna do a song.
I can't see a reunion.
I see a reunion on stage for them to do 2 songs from their first
like
album.
at a concert. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
I don't see a record. If they do a record together, I would be surprised. Coming up, it's easy to go on
Well, what
tour
I'm talking about is the talk is that they are reuniting for an album.
Oh, who wants that?
You just said you did.
Oh, I want to see them on stage together.
Oh, that could happen easily.
Yeah,
they've done that actually.
I don't know. I don't want a record.
Beyonce got on one of Michelle's songs
on an album. I wonder if she charged her for it.
I'm sure. I was finna say I'm sure she didn't, but you know what? I'm not sure. I'm not
And
sure.
therein lies the problem, right there with the superstar thing. Same thing with NSYNC. NSYNC is back together.
Is that the one Justin Timberlake is in?
Yes.
Why?
You didn't know Justin Timberlake was in NSYNC?
It's 2 or 3 white boy bands that just all run together for me.
Name them.
NSYNC.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because you said 3.
da da da. That's NSYNC. NSYNC, and it's another one. Ooh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it's another boy. It's another boy band that was out like when they were out.
Right? Yeah.
Da da da.
I mean, you keep doing
Why
that.
do you
That's
keep
not.
saying that?
Why do you keep doing that?
Boys.
Yes.
Boys.
The what boys? The boys. And NSYNC. One of them is the brother of Mark Wahlberg. One of them is the brother of Mark Wahlberg. His name is Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, you talking about New Kids on the Block?
I am talking about New Kids on the Block. But that is not who I'm talking about
I
in
know.
this particular instance.
I know.
That's a good one. I just gave you a third one because they back out on the road again. They reunited. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the other dudes. The boys. It starts with a B. The
Backstreet Boys.
There you go. Jesus Christ.
Backstreet Boys, yeah.
Whew, that was exhausting.
So I was watching Big Brother, and one of the dude, you saw that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Which group he was in?
He's in NSYNC.
Oh, okay. So NSYNC is the biggest one.
No, Backstreet. Well, depends.
Justin Timberlake was in that.
Justin
So they
Timberlake
gotta
was in
be
NSYNC,
bigger.
but the Backstreet Boys was bigger because Justin kind of left NSYNC.
But when he was in there, they were bigger.
No, they were kind of like
Lance Bass is in
NSYNC from Clinton, Mississippi. By the way,
I don't know any other guys
tell y'all.
from
I'm gonna
there.
tell y'all my Lance Bass story one day. I'm not gonna do it today, but I'm gonna tell y'all my Lance Bass story. I got one, and you'll like this because I got some really good stories. At any rate, this has been great, and
That's it. We done. Anyway, all right.
we're gonna wrap it. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Of course, man, if you like what you have been seeing, of course, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. Get ready for debate night. Debate night, November 24th. If you are watching this, and coming up in some upcoming episodes, we're going to have some people joining us on the podcast. And you're going to be seeing us on some other folks' podcasts. A live, interactive, social experience, a live, interactive, in-person social experience at Center Stage Event Center, live on stage November 24th. You're going to be able to see According to Kaz Queen live on stage doing what we do, but in a live setting. We're going to be along with our homies, the Vibe Controllers, Melanie Sanders, Pia Najar. It's going to be a really dope experience. Some grown folks talk. Grown folks talk. Libations, live music. It's going to be a whole experience. You got to be there. So you can come as a couple. You can come with your homegirls. It's going to be VIP seating. It's going to be the whole thing. You're going to want to definitely be in the building because it's going to be a wild night. It's going to be a really fun night, an interactive night. And it's for grown folks talking
Something
like,
new.
30 something plus, like even 35 plus almost. You know what I'm saying? People have been saying that they have been wanting that kind of experience. So we're going to have it. And you need to be in a place to be because you get to see the Vibe Controllers and According to Kaz Queen do what we do, but do it live on stage. Kind of like in a big show type thing. And then there's going to be some really good conversations going on that you're going to want to be a part of. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be really cool. So make sure you check that out as well. But anyway, for According to Kaz Queen, I am Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And this is According to Kaz Queen. Again, I'll let you guys.
Peace.